I want to recommend that starting tomorrow morning, you get up in the morning and you sit on the side of your bed. And before you get off that bed, you say this: God, if I don't get anything else done today, I'm going to love you a little bit more, know you a little bit better, and I'm going to love the people you've put in my life, because that's what you put me on earth to do. And if I don't get anything else done today, I'm going to love you a little bit more. That means spending some time with him. And I'm going to love the other people in my life you put around me. That means spending some time with them, because the best expression of love is time. Because if at the end of the day you've done that, that day counted. On the other hand, if you didn't do any of that, showing love in any way at all, you just wasted that day, because God didn't put you on earth to mark things off your to-do list. Love is an action. Love means taking time. Love means making somebody else's agenda my agenda. I don't know if you saw this week. It's a beautiful story. In the cover of Friday's Orange County Register, right on the front page, here's a story of a 17-year-old straight A honor student from Dana Hills High School. He was headed to Harvard until he decided that people in a poor village in Africa needed clear water before he went to Harvard. For a year, he had been planning and convincing his parents to pay for his enrollment at Harvard University in a course on science and physics. And he actually turned in his application with a $5,000 deposit and was getting ready to go. But then he left for a 2-week Saddleback Church peace trip. And he went to Rwanda. His mom was on that trip. She had been in 3 peace trips. While he was in Rwanda, he discovered a village that had no clean water, and the people were getting sick. And still not knowing what to do, he just told them, his heart was moved with love. He said, I will be back. 17-year-old kid. He goes, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we're going to figure this out. I will be back. That's called faith. It's quite a long story, and it tells the story of, he comes back to Saddleback, and he meets a guy named John Laurie, a 66-year-old Saddleback member who was retired and who himself had been on a peace trip to another country, to Zambia. And John introduces Ian, this student, to a simple water purification tool. And Ian says, you got to go back with me to this village in Rwanda. And John goes, sorry, I don't have any money. I spent all my money going on the first peace trip. And Ian goes, I know where to get the money. I will pay for you with my deposit that I made to Harvard. And he convinces his parents, and the two go back to Rwanda. Now there's an entire village that has clean drinking water. And when he was asked why he made this loving sacrifice, this is the last sentence on the article, Ian said, Harvard can wait, but these people can't. Law number 1, the best use of life is love. Law number 2, the best expression of love is time. Number 3, the best time to love is now. He didn't wait. The best time to love is now. Not tomorrow, not later, not someday, not one of these days, not when I get around to it, not soon, now. Whatever you intend to do with your life, do it now. Do your giving while you're living, so you'll be knowing where it's going. In other words, I don't understand all these people say, I'm going to save all my money, and then when I die, I'm going to give it away to charity. Why do that? Why not enjoy giving, get the joy of giving by doing it now? Whatever you're going to do it now. Give it away now. You get the joy, do your giving while you're living, then you're knowing where it's going. So if you want to do a little giving while you're living, I know where to put it, okay? I'll just tell you that. Now, look at these verses. The Bible says, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone. Whenever we've got the opportunity. That means now. Look at the next one. Use every chance you have for doing good. In other words, now. The Bible says, whenever you possibly can, do good to those who need it. Never tell your neighbor to wait until tomorrow if you can help them now. What am I saying? Never procrastinate in showing love. Don't delay. Don't put it off. Do it now. Question: who do you need to show love to today? Who do you need to go home after this service and make that phone call and share a word of encouragement and love? Or go home and write that letter? Or go home and make a visit to somebody in a boarding care or a convalescent home or at the hospital? Who do you need to invite over in your backyard and have a barbecue with them and show some love? Who is it at your work that everybody can't stand because they're so obnoxious and that person needs massive doses of love, and you could show love to the unlovely? Did you know that God specifically puts people around your life so you can show love to them? And he wants you to do that. Now, there are some activities in life that you ought to procrastinate on. There are some activities in life where procrastination is a legitimate response. And some things you gotta go, you know what, we're just not ready to do that. Let's wait on that. Let's delay, let's put it off, let's postpone. That's okay. But there's one thing you should never postpone: showing love. Because if love is the essence of life, it's the number one goal of life, it's the reason God put you on earth to learn, then love should always take priority over everything else. Showing love. Why? Because you don't know how long you're going to have the opportunity. People die. I'm sure those people on that Metrolink the other day had no idea as they were going home from work, I'm taking my last breath right now. I will never again see my family, and they will never again see me on this earth. You don't know when your number's going to be punched. So whatever love you're going to do, you better do it now. You better do it now. Circumstances change. Kids grow up. I can't tell you how many empty nester parents have said to me, sure wish I'd spent more time with my kids before they left home. You know, in the 1972 election, George McGovern was running against Richard Nixon, and McGovern and Charles Colson were on opposite sides of the political spectrum. But they both ended up with the same regrets. Chuck Colson wrote this: as I think back on my life, my biggest regret is not spending more time with my kids. Making family your top priority means going against a culture where materialism and workaholism are rampant. It means realizing that you may not advance as fast in your career as others do. It means being willing to accept a lower standard of living, knowing that you're doing it for your kids. It means giving them the emotional security that they'll draw on for the rest of their lives. And then George McGovern, one-time presidential candidate,